Good evening. You're watching AWANI Tonight with me, Saraya Mia. Malaysia's economy grew 5.9% in the second quarter of 2024, primarily driven by stronger household spending amid favorable labor market conditions. Bank Negara Malaysia also credited the robust growth to a rise in exports, higher tourist arrivals, and significant expansion in investment activities.
The latest GDP figures indicate the most robust growth since the fourth quarter of 2022. BNM Governor Datuk Abdul Rashid Ghaffur said the economy is expected to expand closer to the upper end of the 4 to 5% range this year, though subject to risks of global geopolitical conflicts escalating and low expected commodity production. He noted that household spending continues to be the main driver of Malaysia's economic growth, with consumer spending anticipated to strengthen in the future. Private consumption increased by 6%, while public consumption rose by 3.6%. Additionally, private investment grew by 12% and public investment saw a 9.1% increase. Malaysia also benefits from the global technology upcycle and faster implementation of existing and new investment projects. Meanwhile, headline inflation is projected to average between 2 and 3.5% this year.
Civil servants will be getting salary increments of between 7 and 15% under the new Public Service Remuneration System, SSPA. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim says civil servants in top management will receive a 7% wage hike, while those categorized as implementers, managers and professionals will see a 15% pay increase.
Anwar said that considering the country's challenging economic situation, the salary increments will be implemented in phases and will only apply to civil servants who have opted for the SSPA scheme. The first phase will kick off in December this year and the second phase in January 2026. For officers under the implementation group, the salary adjustment will start at 8% in Phase 1 and 7% in Phase 2. Meanwhile, for the top management group, the salary adjustment will be 4% in Phase 1 and 3% in Phase 2. There are approximately 1.3 million civil servants in Malaysia. Anwar, who is also the finance minister, said the government has allocated more than 10 billion ringgit for the salary adjustment.
The new Public Service Remuneration System, SSPA, which will take effect in December, will be performance-based. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim says this will ensure rewards will only be given to those who excel.
Saya harap seluruh penjawat awam, rakan-rakan yang bekerja kuat, terima kenyataan ini. Tak mungkin kita teruskan dengan amalan biasa. Siapa yang bekerja ikut 10 tahun, 15 tahun, 20 tahun, dia naik pangkat ikut biasa. Tak boleh lagi dah. Dia bekerja, dia berkhidmat dengan baik, kita naikkan walaupun belum cukup 10 tahun. Kalau dia lembab dan malas dan cuai, walaupun dia bekerja 20 tahun, peningkatan dia tidak akan dijamin. Saya ucap terima kasih kerana semua sudah setuju.
Meanwhile, the Human Resources Minister says the private sector should also emulate the government's move to raise civil servants' wages. Stephen Sim welcomed the new SSPA beginning December 1st, as it is expected to have an economic spillover once implemented.
Meanwhile, Stephen also encouraged companies to participate in the Progressive Wage Policy pilot project currently underway. He added that his ministry has received recommendations from the National Wage Consultative Council on the new minimum wage and is preparing to present it to the Cabinet. Stephen also echoed Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim's call for the private sector, especially companies with high profits, to review their salary schemes to provide more reasonable remuneration to their employees. Anwar stressed that the SSPA announcement was a message to private companies to raise workers' wages to alleviate financial burdens.
In other news, the fatal plane crash near Bandar El Mina, Shah Alam last year was due to the flight crew's accidental or unintended action before the aircraft could land. According to the final report by the Air Accident Investigation Bureau, AAIB, The primary cause of the crash was the inadvertent extension of the lift dump spoilers. This action led to a sudden loss of lift, resulting in catastrophic loss of control and the subsequent crash. AAIB added that it believed the co-pilot had made the fatal error. The report also revealed that the two pilots were in the wrong seats when the accident happened, which were a factor to the crash. It highlighted a number of other contributing factors that led to the crash, which killed 10 people, including Pahang Executive Councillor and Pelangai Assemblyman Johari Harun. The final report was released just a day before the one-year anniversary of the crash. 2 aircraft carrying 127 injured Palestinian civilians landed at the Royal Malaysia Air Force Subang Air Base this afternoon. They arrived from the Al-Maza Air Base in Egypt around 2 p.m. to receive treatment for wounds sustained during Israel's war on Gaza.
The group, which includes 41 men, women and children, along with their relatives, were among the Palestinian civilians who sought refuge in Egypt. They are aged between 8 months and 62 years old. Upon arrival, Air Force medical personnel conducted medical examinations on the civilians at a field hospital set up in the hangar before proceeding with further treatment. The mission was undertaken following Prime Minister Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim's announcement at the Palestine Solidarity Rally on August 4th in Kuala Lumpur. More than 40,000 people have been killed as a result of military action in Gaza since October 7th, according to the Health Ministry there.
Time for a quick break. We'll be right back with more.
You get the rhythm. I feel good.
Minggu yang tiada penyingkira. Tetapi bukan selamanya.
You're watching the lyrics, bro. Ada sedikit pitchy, do better.
Perjuangan masih perlu diteruskan.
Tadi tu semua you using the whole body untuk bernyanyi.
TikTok Gimme the Mic Malaysia. Siaran langsung di Astro Ria dan Astro Go.
Semua Sarawak bersukan dalam perpaduan. Semua Sarawak atlet berprestasi tinggi kita lahirkan. Terus gemilang capai kecemerlangan. Semua Sarawak medan perjuangan.
Patong Tan Shinawat, the daughter of billionaire tycoon and former leader Thaksin, has been picked as Thailand's next prime minister after securing enough support from lawmakers. At 37 years old, she will be the country's youngest prime minister and the second woman in the post after her aunt Yingluck Shinawat.
Patong Tan, who secured 319 votes in favour and 145 against on Friday, is the fourth member of the Shinawat family to become Prime Minister in the past 2 decades. Her selection follows the dismissal of former Prime Minister Seta Tavisin by the Constitutional Court just 2 days earlier. Both Patong Tan and Seta belong to the Pheu Thai party, which came in second in the 2023 election, but managed to form a ruling coalition. Patong Tan now faces the challenging task of reviving Thailand's stalled economy while navigating the risks of military coups and court interventions that have previously toppled 4 administrations led by her party, including those of her father Thaksin and her aunt Yingluck, both ousted by military coups or constitutional court rulings.
Meanwhile, Indonesian President Joko Widodo hailed his economic track record in a final State of the Nation address before he leaves office in October after a decade in power. Widodo, more popularly known as Jokowi, will be replaced by Defence Chief Prabowo Subianto after serving the maximum 2 terms.
Pertumbuhan ekonomi kita terjaga di kisaran 5%, walau banyak negara tidak tumbuh bahkan melambat. Wilayah Indonesia Timur seperti Papua dan Maluku justru mampu tumbuh di atas 6%, dan Maluku Utara mampu tumbuh di atas 20%.
Jokowi added that inflation had held steady between 2 and 3% despite the COVID-19 pandemic. Despite economic progress, Jokowi faced criticism in the build-up to February's presidential election for what some called an attempt to create his own political dynasty. His son Gibran Rakabuming Raka will serve as Prabowo's vice president after candidate eligibility rules were changed by Jokowi's brother-in-law and then Chief Justice, allowing the 36-year-old Gibran to run for office. Jokowi also faced criticism of weakening Indonesia's judiciary and anti-corruption body. Sweden has recorded its first case of a more dangerous type of Mpox outside the African continent. The country's public health agency said it was the same strain of the virus that surged in the Democratic Republic of Congo since September 2023, known as the Clade 1b subclade.
The person became infected during a stay in an area of Africa where there is currently a major outbreak of Mpox Clade 1. The news comes just hours after the WHO declared that the outbreak of Mpox in parts of Africa was now a public health emergency of international concern. Meanwhile, Pakistan has also detected 3 patients with the Mpox virus on Friday. The viral infection was detected in the patients on their arrival from the United Arab Emirates, UAE. Pakistan has had cases of Mpox previously, and it was not immediately clear which variant was detected in the patients.
5 people, including 2 doctors, have been charged in connection with the death of actor Matthew Perry last year. Police say an investigation launched in May uncovered an underground criminal network of drug suppliers distributing ketamine.
Prosecutors allege that the defendants exploited Perry's history of addiction in the final months of his life, providing him with dangerous amounts of ketamine. They also allegedly attempted to cover up their crimes after Perry's death by deleting text messages and falsifying medical records. 3 of them, including Perry's personal assistant, have pleaded guilty to drug charges, while 2 others were arrested on Thursday. Perry had died at his Los Angeles home in October last year, at the age of 54. A post-mortem examination revealed a high concentration of ketamine in his blood and concluded that effects of the controlled substance led to his death. A powerful anesthetic, ketamine has been used as a treatment for depression, anxiety and pain.
Indigenous communities play a crucial role in safeguarding the Earth's forests, yet their lands and livelihoods are often under threat. To mark the International Day of the World's Indigenous Peoples, the guests share what it means for their community to fight for and protect their land.
Kami sebenarnya adalah barisan pertama untuk melindung hutan-hutan. Jadi itu adalah kefahaman tentang tema tahun ini kepada orang asal. Jadi kenapa saya cakap susah untuk diraikan, sebab kalau kita tengok pembangunan masa sekarang pun macam kurang memberi peluang dan ruang kepada orang asal untuk mengamalkan tradisi mereka.
Hazalin Anak Rimba, a PhD candidate from University Malaya, explains further the importance of ancestral lands to indigenous communities.
When a particular conglomerate wants to expand their logging and encroach into the territories of indigenous people, they don't realize that what they're doing is taking the homes, because their definition of home is 4 walls. And our definition of home is the land that we are in.
Catch the full conversation on It's About Youth, 10:30 p.m. every Friday, only on Astro AWANI.
That's all we have for you on AWANI tonight. Thank you for watching. I'm Saraya Mia, and good night.